Hello, class, and welcome to week 4. This week you have an interesting assignment. You're going to be working with Daryl and Samar and helping them to fight fairly. Why I call this assignment interesting is because for many people, just sitting across from one person is challenging enough. You learned that during your residency week. Add to that an additional person, i.e., a couple, and then think about the person of the therapist and how that dynamic takes place within the counseling relationship. And it makes for a very interesting assignment. And so I'm really looking forward to you all working on that this week, and really thinking about who's sitting across from you in the room and what is at play in the room as we are applying the concepts of this course. Now, I really appreciate what you all are doing in your journal entries and in writing your papers, and I wanted to call out some things. First and foremost, your journal entries, I don't really pay attention to APA citations as much there. I might correct, if you do an in-text citation, I might correct it if it's improperly formatted. But I really do pay attention to your APA formatting on your case analyses because these are formal assignments and it leads to your final project, which will have you citing APA in the paper. Related to that, please don't be afraid, especially this week with Daryl and Samar, when you have your case analyses to cite sources. This is a class I said in an earlier video where some students sort of fall into the trap of trying to phone it in or just relying on their personal experiences. And while that can be helpful, this also is a course that comes with literature and with content that can be cited that has been peer reviewed and is empirical and scholarly. And so we want to rely on those things too in our graduate work. And finally, I wanted to talk more just about biases and the courage it takes to do this kind of work. This is a class that, for whatever reason, for many reasons, it's not always easy for people. It's not like accounting or like statistics where it's like hard and fast numbers. It's a course that is teaching you things or telling you things that you may not have ever considered before, things that might contradict how you see yourself or how you see the world. And so a common reaction for students is to sometimes get upset with the information, sometimes not believe the information, or want to discount the information. And I really encourage you, if you are in that place, to sit with that feeling, sit with that emotion, and begin sort of be inquisitive about what that means for you. And so, why is this course affecting you, affecting me, is what I would ask myself, in a way that is different from a statistics course or in a way that's different from a research course. And so, I encourage you all to think about that. And when I mention courage, it really does take courage to think about yourself, all aspects of yourself. When I was in my master's program, this is when Hurricane Katrina hit. And when Hurricane Katrina hit, it was a very difficult time for our country. So we were in our theories. No, it was our helping skills class, and my instructor played an NPR interview with people who were in the lower Ninth Ward. Now, I've never been to New Orleans, and so I'm not familiar with the infrastructure, but how it was described in the article, in the interview, it sounded as if there's some sort of bridge. And so in the interview, there were people who were, their housing area was flooding, and they were trying to escape from where they were being flooded. And so they were walking up this bridge that I think was at an incline. It would lead them to higher ground. And they're walking up the bridge to get to higher ground, and they're met on the bridge by the sheriff who has a gun pointed at them and tells them to turn around and go back to where they came from. Because I think, based on the interview, the bridge not only led to higher ground, but it led to more affluent neighborhoods that were largely Caucasian. And so in class, we were all up in arms. We were all terribly upset because, these were people trying to flee a situation that was dire. And my instructor, asks us, could you counsel any one of these people? And we were all like, yeah, we could definitely counsel them. These people are hurting, they need assistance. And then my instructor asks us, could you counsel the sheriff? And you could have heard a pin drop. And, I was in a program where I was probably the only minority in the classroom. And so all of us were challenged in a way to think, could I work with a person who has done something that rubs up against my core beliefs about how people should be treated? and people were mistreated based on their race, people were mistreated based on their socioeconomic status. And so that is my charge to you. Can you counsel the sheriff? Can you understand and appreciate that everyone has a story, even if their story and their actions are different from the story that you have or actions that you would favor and hold to be true? So that is my announcement for the week. Give that some thought. Let me know if you have any questions. Continue to challenge yourselves. I'm really appreciating the hard work that you all are doing. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.